Be prepared is more than a motto for the Boy Scouts. It is excellent advice for all of us as we think about proper estate planning. That's why for estate planning, you should turn to the experts at the law firm of Abraham and Bauer.
We have to talk about the particulars of the trust issue,
yes,
right?
There's some places where we've questioned.
For a long time, I've been wanting to clean things up and get my papers in order, that sort of thing, but it is the kind of thing that's kind of uncomfortable. But I've known Richard for a long time, and he's such a wonderful man that finally I decided that I needed to do it.
One of the main goals I have in representing every client is to minimize cost, reduce the stress level of the client, which also gives them a better handle on time management and eases their burden across the board.
I first started working with Richard because I was looking for legal services for a cousin of mine, and I needed some assistance. So I called the law firm. We came out and I met with him. I told him what I needed done, and he advised me as to what to do, the estate planning for her, getting her services for medical help and for placement in a nursing home. Because I was impressed with his service and his attentiveness to our case. So we did our estate planning, the wills, the advance directive, all that. With that, I was then so pleased. I recommended my daughter, who then came out and did her family planning. From there, we went to a couple of friends. So I just simply recommended him because he did a very thorough job. He was real attentive. Whenever you called the office, you were never put off. Everything was done expediently, and we were very pleased.
What the statistics show is that less than 50% of all of us have done any planning whatsoever. And it's really important that most people, if not all people, who are over 18, start considering having at least 3 basic documents which form the basis of estate planning. Those are a financial power of attorney, an advance directive for health care, and a last will and testament. Elder law is really a law practice that focuses on assisting elderly or disabled individuals. However, I view it a little bit differently. We not only assist those groups, but also multi-generations of families. I've assisted 2 and 3, sometimes 4 generations of families for not only their estate planning, but if they have an elderly relative that needs assistance concerning a nursing home issue or a medical assistance issue. So it really cuts across all those familial generational lines. Every client's different. They all have different goals, and each client is unique, and we approach it from that perspective. We don't practice law using a cookie-cutter formula here.
So I came in and I wanted to do my last will and testament, my advance directives. I wanted everything in order so that when the time comes, my children wouldn't have any of that stuff to have to deal with. And Richard made that all very simple for me. He's very calm. He's very honest. He has a lot of integrity. He made the process really easy and really pleasant. So I'm so glad I did it. I feel so relieved.
That's really what I'm about, is helping families avoid crisis. So the number one thing we do here is we establish a rapport with a client, determine what their goal is, and more often than not, it is to avoid a crisis. Or they're in the middle of a crisis that's erupted, and they come to me to figure out what they can do, if anything, to fix it. The relationship of the attorney to the client and their family is paramount, and it's my job to ease all of the burden that the family is experiencing, to allow for better communication between the family members, and to minimize things like stress, expense, etc. Failing to do all of those things makes it more expensive on every level.
It's easier in dealing with agencies when they know you have representation, when they know you have documents. They don't seem to give you the runaround or keep putting you off. I have dealt with some friends who I've had to help. They didn't have documentation. They didn't have representation. So it was a lot of problems. So to avoid all of that, it's best to get in estate planning and someone that you can put your hands on and don't have to wait for phone calls back or things not being done.
Failing to plan can be 10 times more expensive and on occasion significantly higher than that, than engaging in pre-planning. Many people think they're protected because they signed documents years ago. Unfortunately, that creates a false sense of security, and in reality, they're not as protected as they would like to think.
So I think the bottom line in all of this is peace of mind, and it was something that I just wanted to take care of because I really believe that it's the loving thing to do.
If you think about all of the different services that are needed to assist us as we go through the cycles of life, the planning attorney really is the spoke, the center of the wheel, with all of the other spokes centering and then coming out from that center.
If I can recommend to anyone, I would contact Mr. Abraham and get your estate done, get your will done. It's very important because it's never too early.
I look forward to meeting you, and I invite you for an estate planning wellness chat.
It's so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm just really glad I did it because now I'm on the other side of it, and it's just one less thing I have to worry about.
For an estate planning wellness check, visit abrahambauer.com or call them at 443-901-1333.